Hey guys, this is KotPeepers coming to you with the Firebats build. So we're going to go over all the normal stuff, equipment, skills, paragon points, cube, and I will go ahead and show the follower again. I always use the same follower though, so it's not going to really change for the runs I do. And then we're going to demonstrate the build like always. Alright, so equipment first. So first to note is that you're going to wear the Arachnid set. Second, you're going to make sure that you're going to wear the Sacred Harvester, and on that you want to try and get percent damage, attack speed. I got Vite on mine, but it's primal, so I'm keeping it. The convention of elements, so you're going to basically be using a bunch of different elements, and you're going to be using cold, fire, and physical, and poison. Let's see. Yep. Fire, cold, poison, physical. Okay. So you're basically for the Arachnid set going to wear the gloves, try and get trifecta on them like I did. A perfect trifecta, so even if I get an ancient one, these ones will probably still be better overall. At least for a while. The shoulders, want to go ahead and roll invite, armor, or all res. And I rolled reduced resource cost reduction because the Firebats cost quite a bit even with the staff, and I seem to run out of mana with it. You can also get any type of locust damage on there, would help out a lot. So the helm is the third piece, and you're going to use that with invite and crit chance and a socket, so you can get either additional life or cooldown. You're going to do the chest, which is going to be invite and armor. You can also roll a skill on there if you would like to for additional damage. That's probably what you'd want to do. And then for the belt, you'll want to go ahead and get the jungle wraps, which will increase your firebat damage when you have your locust swarm on all the enemies. The pants for the Arachnid set, invite armor and 2 sockets, which it's ancient, so it'll get it. The Arachnid's boots, invite Firebats damage, and you can get movement speed or armor or all res. Movement speed, I'll show you, that's what I got, so I'll show you how to do the paragon points. The other pieces are going to be the amulet, Traveler's Pledge, and of course the compass rose, so that set. Int, crit damage, crit chance, and a socket, always a socket on jewelry. The Lacoma's ornaments, which is going to be cold damage, crit chance, and int invite. I use these for my Helltooth build as well. You guys probably saw it in the other videos. And yeah, it basically stays with pretty much all the builds going from one to the next. Would want to roll fire damage on it though, and I actually just picked up a pair. So I probably will end up re-rolling these and then using these for the Firebats build. The compass rose, I got a really good ancient one. I got invite, crit chance, crit damage, and a socket. So I definitely augmented that one. The offhand is going to be the Vile Hive, and that's going to allow your Locust Swarm to get the Pestilence rune, which on here, check out the Pestilence rune, it's going to be the one that allows it to jump from additional, like, basically it'll encompass the entire group, it'll just engulf them. For the cube, you're going to want to run the Firebat staff, the mantles and channeling, so you can get damage reduction in addition to extra damage. The staff is going to make your Firebats cost less, and then of course increase attack speed so you're attacking 100% faster. And the Ring of Emptiness. So this is the one that gives 300% increased damage if you have both Haunt and Locust Swarm on an enemy. Alright, so now we're going to go to Paragon Points. And in Paragon Points, the way that I did this is I went and had to put a little bit into mana. So I only needed 14 movement speed because 25 is the max between Paragon Points and equipment. I then put it into some intelligence, Vite, and when I realized I needed maximum mana or more mana, I put a few points, or the points I had remaining, in mana. Offense, you're basically going to want to get crit chance, crit damage, depending on which one you need. So I've explained this in another video. To get the maximum output, you basically want to be within 10% of each other. So this should be at about 44 to 40, 5% for this to be within 10%. But anyway, whichever one you actually need, and then attack speed. So crit chance, crit damage, attack speed, and then cooldown reduction is last. On defense, I always do armor, then life, then life regen or all res. You get all res with your int. If you need it, go for it. If you don't need the extra 250, which is chump change with what you get for int, then you can go life regen. For this, I do area damage, resource cost reduction, life per hit. Well, life per hit and area damage I would probably do first. But if you need, use resource cost reduction so that you can get that, keep casting those Firebats. And then of course gold. Alright, so on to the skills. On the skills, you're going to use Haunt with Draining Spirit. So again, you don't necessarily have mana problems. That's going to be part of the Ring of Emptiness. And is going to help to increase your damage from Firebats. Firebats on the right click. This is going to be with the Cloud of Bats, which is going to be the most damage dealing out of the runes. So definitely Cloud of Bats. Makes you be within 20 yards and allows your Confidence Ritual to proc. For Locust Swarm, we're going to use Cloud of Insects because remember we're getting the Pestilence rune from our offhand, our mojo. So that's gonna definitely help with the damage output and getting it to every single enemy that's around us. And then the Cloud of Insects, of course, jumps to an additional nearby enemy, and the enemy is affected by it take 25% reduced damage. So those are the two runes you're getting. So the second one down there, enemies affected deal 25% reduced damage. That is the Cloud of Insects. The top one, the Locusts, will jump to an additional nearby enemy, is from your offhand. The Spirit Walk with Jaunt, which is the staple for any good Witch Doctor. Soul Harvest with Languish, again, a big staple this season, and of course since the Harvester has come out. Hex with Jinx, so you can do additional damage, and it'll change them into little piggies, so you don't have to take damage from them. So when you run into a group, you're not going to get one-shotted, hopefully, with Hex. I run Pierce of the Veil, Grave Injustice, because you're definitely within 20 yards. Confidence Ritual for the extra damage, definitely within 20 yards. You're running Locust Swarm and Haunt, so definitely run Creeping Death so you can get it to stay out there and be covering everything. So that's basically all the skills. I'm going to go ahead and show you the follower real quick. Inventorying the skills. So he runs a Wind Fury, or a Thunder Fury, to work with the Weird Word. There we go. And then you have him run an Oculus Ring so you can get that additional damage. You have him run an S of Johan, which allows him to suck everything in a bigger radius than your Tornadoes and stuff can. You want to give him the Freezing so that he can actually stun way more. And these two stun like crazy. So you should be pretty set. And then of course the one that makes him not die. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and test this out. And let's go to the bridge, or the crossing, I suppose. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do Spirit Walk, then Soul Harvest. So Spirit Walk, Soul Harvest, cast your Jinx, cast Locust Swarm, cast Haunt, start your bats. Boom, dead. Move to the next one. Jinx, cast Locust Swarm, cast your Haunt, boom, dead. Go to the next one. And you can use it to move around because by now you have 10 stacks, so you can use your Spirit Walk to get around a lot quicker. It looks like there's not a whole lot of density here. Okay, so here we're going to do Jinx first. Locust Swarm, Haunt, boom, dead. Now this will work in the higher grade of rifts. So we're going to go in here, get them, drop it, Locust Swarm, dead. Oh, and a legendary. So you kind of get the idea. I mean, it's basically just explodes everything. It's just a nuke build. Well, there is a nuke build with Spirit Barrage, and we'll be doing that one later on. But yeah, and your Hex, of course, gets the Total Hugeness from your 4-piece. And then the rest of your damage that you get from Firebats, an additional 2400%, plus the 172 increased damage when they have Locust Swarm on, plus the Ring of Emptiness, which gives you an additional 300% damage when they have Haunt and Locust Swarm on them. So for bosses, it's amazing. But this is basically a trash killer. So you just kill big old piles of trash when you're running in a group. And when you're running solo, you should be able to kill, you know, stuff fairly easily. But yeah, that's pretty much the build. If you guys have any questions, comments, please put them down below, and I will answer them. There's also links down below to the other builds that are available for Witch Doctors. Thanks. Have a good day.